invite our incredible session moderator who will weave the conversation for us all. We have with us architect Salil Ranadeve, who will be here joining us to take the session forward for us. But joining him, we also have with us Sachin Gupta of Beyond Designs, Harshvardhan of Studio Lotus, Zaki Sheikh of Parthenon Architects, Tanya Khanna of Epistle Communications, and Sonali Bhagwati of DPA. Ladies and gentlemen, some really esteemed names. Let me please invite them all on stage.
You can just sort of introduce yourselves in terms of the practice you run, not in terms of, which significant projects you've done, because that's perhaps known to everybody, but just your journey as a practitioner from the time you say graduated and started and established yourselves. What is the journey that you did? I'll be very quickly, I think one by one, so that it just kind of familiarizes everybody, to what we're going to be talking about.
Hi, I'm Tanya. I am an architect by training. I run a very different sort of practice, which was not really deemed as practice for the longest time. I started Epistle Communications about 14 years back after dabbling with a career spanning almost 10 years, figuring out why architects are unable to run sustainable businesses, like you said. Architects traditionally, particularly in India, have always shied away from the dirty M marketing word, the B business word, B brands, and we traditionally have never believed in documenting our own journey and process as designers. So with that intent, I started Epistle. The idea was to focus on just creating really good quality content, which belongs to you, is authentic to who you are and what you do, and then use the larger discourse to be able to talk about your work in a more meaningful manner. And so that's what Epistle's been doing. We've been around for about 14 years. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sachin Gupta. I am the principal and the founder at a design firm called Beyond Designs. I have been in practice for about 28 years, though my company is 25 years old this year. I think designing very, very bespoke, unique, out-of-the-box spaces could be hospitality or residential or a single brand bridal stores kind of thing. These kind of spaces I have been doing, and a very unique combination for me has been that I have been a design and build person, where I design, I execute, I put it to form, I put it to shape, I put it to finish. And also over the years, I realized I have also to do my own furniture. So in terms of finishing the spaces, finishing the entire project, I also started a production house where I only cater to manufacturing objects that I design and are uniquely used for the project. So in terms of an overall profile, a design, execution, and production. These are the three areas that I have now got into an expertise, and this is what I take forward.
Hello. Hi, I'm Harsh. I'm part of this firm called Studio Lotus, based out of New Delhi. And while the firm is 23 and a half years old, I started my journey at Studio Lotus as an intern back in 2012. Now I play the role of one of the principals at the studio. And my journey has kind of grown up in bits and pieces along with the firm. In the beginning, I got my hands dirty on various projects, looking at interior design, architecture design, rubbing thermocol furniture pieces. And soon, maybe 4 or 5 years down the line, I realized that what I really was passionate about, which is primarily this idea of design, actually the world is far bigger than that, and people are the key behind everything that makes this big ship move. And I switched my career to start looking at everything else that happens in the backside of the practice: HR, BD, communications, strategy, etc. And that's what I do at the studio. And the journey has been quite intense and exciting at the same time.
Hi, I'm Sonali Bhagwati. I represent DPA, which is an architectural and interior design firm. When I started practice, I think interiors were looked down upon. And, you really didn't want to be associated. And I have seen the whole evolution of interior design as a discipline, as a profession. And I'm very happy to know that it has evolved into what I would call interior architecture, extremely professionally handled and as complex and as, I would say, process driven as any architectural project. And that's what I look at, which is a lot of interior architecture and boutique architecture. All the projects are, everything that I do is essentially design oriented and unfortunately also a little bit cost oriented. But I think it has a much more of a design overlay and less of, I would say, a business overlay. While my partner Sorab, of course, does, I would say, the large-scale architectural works, which are pure business, according to me. So we have very different verticals, and that's how the journey has evolved over the 35 years that we've been in practice. I think I would like to put in right now that when we studied architecture, I'm from SET, and when we studied architecture, we were just so design driven that we learned very little about everything else. We learned very little about what an architectural practice means. And I think all of us need to go through a business school to really know, because architecture or running any such practice is not just design. It is not just doing a good project. It's how to run a practice and make it successful, because only then you can do a good project. So I think there is such a lot of interlinking between these two. And I think over the years, one has learned and one has realized this. And one has tried to deal with it, And I think, Sachin, you're very smart. You've done the right thing.
Hi, I'm Zaki Sheikh. I'm the principal architect at Parthenon. I founded the company. I'm an architect in my mind, but in reality, I'm a Kadiya, I'm a carpenter, I'm a plumber. I'm also the chief shrink to all my clients for their marriage issues and personal solving matters. But I'm professionally an architect, but in everything else, I'm everything else but an architect. And most importantly, I think I'm an absolute businessman. I just happen to be in design, which I think is a business.